if I don't look at it, then I don't have to think about it. That's definitely a thing that's true and good.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Ostrich. All right. In 7, 5, 8.
Oh, all this sand is very itchy. Oh, I wish I was somewhere else.
Anakin Ostrich. Good. In 3, 2, 7.
Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello, dear listener, and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin, and with me, as always, is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Anakin. Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What?
I didn't have a voice prepared, so I don't have an Anakin voice. It doesn't work.
What have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Yeah.
So, we wind our way back to last Thursday.
Must we?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
We wind our way back to last Thursday when the agenda for this week's council meeting came out. And it turned out that, something came up during the agenda that I wanted to speak on, and so it was determined that if I wanted to say it, I would have to go in and say it. Unfortunately, this particular council meeting fell on a Tuesday because it was Regatta Day on Monday, and this particular Tuesday was February the 10th, my birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you.
Which, we've worked around scheduling problems for birthdays as far as birthday-related events go.
Yeah,
in the past,
you too.
It's fine. It's fine. In the end, we had birthday dinner and dessert the day before, and that was good. It was fish and chips and etc. And I know I've just said "and" twice in 2 consecutive words there, but
especially when you're just "anding," etc.ing something that I put my heart and soul into, not expecting to have to do it that day.
Well,
having come home from a long swim and a walk, and suddenly, oh, by the way...
I think that's just a communications failure.
Oh, just a communications... No, it is not a communications failure when you say "and etc."
Well, the etc. was part of the dinner. The dessert was apple crumble. And I'm assuming that your pain is with, having to stew some apples on the Monday.
Carefully hand-peeled and spiral chopped, and then banana chopped the other way.
Your hand was definitely involved.
2 bags of apples, and you have an etc. Anyway.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Tuesday, my birthday, and I hadn't heard back about whether my deputation had been accepted or not, and so I called in, and of course the point person isn't in the office at the time, so I have to get a call back, so stack that anxiety.
Yay.
And eventually I do get the call back, and there's still 2 hours to be anxious about the actual deputation. And I finally go in, and I give it, and my hands are so very shaky.
Yeah.
It turns out that over a decade of not doing a lot of speaking in public, I've not gotten any better at it. I can write just the perfect piercing text, and I hope that specific councillors that my remarks were more pointed towards sufficiently chastened by what I had to say, but oh boy, you want to gesticulate. You really want to gesticulate when you're giving this 2.5 minute speech, and you cannot, because if you remove one hand from the paper will rattle, and it will rattle loudly.
So did the reason for you presenting this, which was prompted by something on the agenda, did that actually occur?
No, it was in an answer to a question from the previous meeting that...
Okay.
Some months ago, almost a year ago, almost 2 years ago...
Many, many moons ago.
The state government was looking for a place to put a high-performance centre for their big fancy football team, and Clarence put the Rosny Parklands up as a potential place that it could go. And for a while, every indication was that the Parklands were in fact the government's preferred location. So eventually there was a petition to have a meeting, and that meeting led to a petition to have an elector poll, and that elector poll revealed that the community was pretty much evenly split on whether it was a good idea or not.
Yes, it certainly didn't receive the huge swathes of support that were being bandied about by
the supporters,
yes,
or indeed the huge waves of detraction that the detractors were talking about. It was, I'll be honest, about what I expected.
Yeah.
And so eventually, with no particular reasoning given, a few months later, it turns out it's going to Kingborough, the Twin Ovals in Kingston, and not here. And that was just fine by everyone who was against the project, and baffling to everyone who wasn't.
This was after, basically, the government had said that they preferred Rosny.
And then just silence for several months, and then suddenly it's somewhere else.
Yeah.
And for certain...
So it was messy all round.
Yeah. For certain councillors who were for the project, this was unacceptable. This was a flawed decision, as one councillor would repeatedly say as he continued to bring it up over the following months. And eventually he managed to convince his fellow councillors to put in a right to information request, just trying to figure out exactly what happened. And that took another several months to arrive, and it did sometime last month, and eventually was released by council a couple of weeks ago. And this ended up in the edited response to one of the questions from the previous council meeting. And I had a look at the documents, some 1,500 or so pages across 2 requests. And it turned out that the reason that it wasn't put here is because it would take too long and cost too much, for reasons that probably were obvious to everyone except for the councillors who were baffled.
Yeah. Yes, I'm still well and truly convinced that very early on there were certain council, as in the management team of the council, had a fair idea that this isn't going to fly, but has to follow the directions of the council, as opposed to the council. Anyway.
Fairly full gallery.
It was.
As we're recording this last night. And some people who were definitely on side, so it got a reaction.
It did.
Which is not something that you're supposed to do from the gallery.
No.
But
in fact, the reaction came from not just the gallery. There was certainly applause coming from certain councillors.
I wasn't looking at the councillors a lot, but I can probably guess from who.
I don't know.
I don't want to go back and look at the tapes,
No.
but I will probably go back and look at the tapes.
It was certainly somebody who had to turn their chair all the way around to listen to you.
Yes, okay.
Right.
And then later in the meeting, one of the councillors brought up my deputation in relation to what I would call a almost completely unrelated item. as sort of an example of train wrecks, such as the Southern Tasmanian Resources and Land Use Strategy.
Dear. Train wreck indeed. Anyway, I should also point out that you did receive a birthday acknowledgement from our illustrious mayor.
Well, I did use my birthday as a rhetorical device in order to set up the end of the deputation.
Yes, but you did get a birthday greeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what you've been up to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I spent my birthday. Being anxious, and then being further anxious, and then coming home and having a bowl of remaining apple crumble and still shaking afterwards.
Yeah.
And that basically filled my week. Other than Olympics coverage, which has been interesting, only having one channel to look at, especially when Australians aren't doing anything in particular, so it's just jumping between sports, looking for some sort of story, but never completing any of the stories.
Oh, Thomas, if you had any idea, my first vague recollection would be the 1972 Olympics.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think it was more a case of where I was when those Olympics were on. We'd gone for a family holiday or something. But certainly in many, many of the years of my childhood growing up, we did only have one station, and it was a live-to-air station that covered any Olympics. So
this was pre-multi-channels.
Yeah.
If a broadcaster was covering the Olympics, that was all they were covering on their one channel.
Yep.
But instead, this year we have 9 who shove the coverage off to a multi-channel for an hour or two, because Married at First Sight is more important to have on the main channel. And apparently is still doing gangbusters even with the Olympics off somewhere else, so I guess they're right then.
The Winter Olympics is definitely poor sibling of the Summer Olympics.
Especially for Australia. We have some success sometimes, and about half of that success is not intentional.
No. Yes. No. Yes. Anyway.
But again, I'm not paying $32 or somehow convincing other people to put $20 on our existing Stan subscription.
No.
Just to experience endings, I guess.
Yeah, look, if they had winter diving, then and the winner is the person who actually finally breaks through the ice. If they had that, I might consider it.
I don't even mind them locking full replays behind the paywall. If I could just see all the things live, that would be fine.
Yeah.
But I can't.
No.
I am left at the whims of some ADHD-riddled TV director.
That's harsh. Wow. Okay. You done?
Yes, I think I might be done. What have you been up to this past week?
I'm busy looking at a figure of 19 minutes.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. What have I been up to? Well, I edited last week's podcast and spent hours doing that. Yeah. I'm aching, actually. I've been doing a lot of swimming, which is completely out of my comfort zone. And today especially was very much out of my comfort zone in that I swam out to some markers and then swam between the markers. So couldn't put my feet down because I was well and truly out. And yeah, I started thinking that I'd touched something in the water and then said, no, look, I must be imagining it, and I'd swim a little further and then something else would hit my hand, and I got a bit spooked, but kept going. Yeah, so...
There are sometimes large and dangerous creatures in these waters.
There are. And I've still managed to convince myself that it's unlikely that it was anything dangerous. In fact, the most dangerous thing that I came across was I rescued a bee that was sort of floating in the water, and I picked it up on my finger and said, please don't sting me, as I side-stroked to one of the big buoys and placed it on top of that to dry out. Whether that worked or not, I don't know, but it didn't. It certainly didn't sting me. I don't know whether it had a lot of life left in it, but so I'm aching. I am not a swimmer, but I'm certainly feeling some definition in my arms, Thomas, that have not experienced that, I don't think, ever.
Look, you're more of a swimmer than me.
I did actually think of dragging you along and, sticking some floaties on your ankles and, and using you as another marker buoy to swim round. Anyway, got nothing else really. But, the old plasma donation yesterday. That was fun. Still a happy place. Love it. We have a film to watch.
We do have a film to watch.
Yeah, and I selected it. So you're selecting next week's.
Well, no, you attempted to select it this week, and then I selected it last week.
Yeah, I've still got it on my calendar.
Yeah.
I've stuck a calendar, so... What are we watching this week?
We are watching the Wes Anderson film from last year, The Phoenician Scheme.
Not a Wes Anderson film. Why did you pick that?
Well, because I like what he has to offer sometimes, and I wanted to.
But it doesn't have Bill Murray in it.
It doesn't seem to have Bill Murray in it, no.
It does have Tom Hanks in it, though.
Yeah.
And Senna is in it.
Yes, Michael Cera is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Thingy. Yeah. Okay, please tell our dear listener. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because trying to ask someone to read a plot synopsis for a Wes Anderson film can be somewhat of a stab in the dark, really. I've got to edit that sniff out now. Every time he goes to read a plot synopsis. And I've got to edit it out. Please, tell our dear listener what the Phoenician
scheme
thing,
scheme,
the Venetian blinds is all about.
Blinds. Great, sure.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson directs this tale of a tycoon who plucks his daughter from a monastic life to revive a faltering mega-project as his myriad enemies close in.
That's what we're watching. We're watching it on
Netflix. Yep.
So we've got to wind up the set-top box. We're going to watch it. We're going to come back and talk about it. So we'll catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B.
No, I'm editing that bit out.
Where you'll find the myriad enemies, I guess.
I guess so, you mongrel. The myriad mongrels. Yeah, good. So, what did you think?
Wes Anderson makes weird movies about weird people doing weird things that make sense to those people. And in some respects, I can relate. Because I am a weird person who does weird things that make sense to me and maybe not necessarily to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very much a film along those lines. These are not real people, but I relate to them still because it's about getting things done, is the film.
Uh-huh.
It's about getting things done, and it's about reconnecting. And maybe I don't relate so much with reconnecting, but sort of struggling to put my feelings about the film into words.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I found it stale.
Yeah?
Yeah. In that I hesitate to say one-trick pony, but I'm very tempted to say one-trick pony as far as what Wes Anderson films have become for me. Every new one that comes out seems to be, I guess, diminished returns as far as originality. And maybe that's the point. You know, you go into it with the expectation that it's going to be a Wes Anderson film. I guess probably the closest comparison that I could come up with would be Roald Dahl books, in that you have a fair idea of the types of things that you're going to be confronted with. You know, whimsical characters and uncomfortablenesses and people getting their comeuppанces. And yeah, it's... Don't get me wrong, there was a level at which I enjoyed it, but I really felt like a lot of the time I was just going through the paces of, okay, we're ticking boxes. We've done the quirky camera angles, we've done the pastels, we've done this, we've done that. And this, I don't think, brought anything new. And maybe that's wrong to be expecting something new, but why would you? I don't know. Maybe it's like jigsaw puzzles. One could argue that the only difference between one 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and the next 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle is the picture, because the actual puzzle itself is the same. I don't know whether if this had been my first Wes Anderson film, whether it would have felt, wow, that was cool. With my mentality, I know that the first one that I watched, or maybe the second one that I watched, I really, really enjoyed its quirkiness and its, you know, camera moves and tricks, and this is cool. This is so original. And if this had been the first one I watched, would I have felt that? Probably. But then, you know, if you take them all and shuffle them in a box, has he progressed, or has he developed, or is he just, okay, my film formula works, it keeps working, we'll just keep to the formula? Is it, you know, like the Fast and Furious franchise? Is it a Wes Anderson franchise? You know, I'm really worried about falling into the Emperor's New Clothes type of feel. Ooh, it's a new Wes Anderson film, and isn't it special? Isn't it great? And I'm sort of sitting in the corner going, it's the same as the last three. The musicians have changed, but the music's still the same. It's, yeah, I don't know. Am I being harsh?
I liked the film.
Yeah.
I very much liked the film, but I'm not sure you are being harsh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is more of the same. I will grant you that, but perhaps I am looking for more of the same.
Yeah, and fair enough. You know, as you were saying that, I was thinking the same could be said for huge periods of James Bond films.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that period of James Bond films. You know, did the Daniel Craig era make any advancements or progressions within its... And probably not. But apart from one or two stinkers in that, I got what I wanted out of it. And probably the same thing can be said of Wes Anderson films or Roald Dahl books or
seasons of reality television.
Or Clive Cussler. You know, you go in there buying a Clive Cussler book and you're going to have the main characters, and then you're going to have the characters who play those roles, and it's copy-paste. That's being really, really harsh probably. But I know Wendy will pick up a Clive Cussler book, not because she's expecting something incredible to make it different from the previous one, but because she knows what she's in for. And yeah, perhaps as far as that is concerned, that's how I should approach any Wes Anderson film that I sit and watch. But I know that there have been ones that I have really, really enjoyed and have been smart, but there have also been others that are trying desperately hard to be a Wes Anderson film.
Things I really like about this film. The opening title sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Just a room that is the size of the camera frame with text that is the same colour as the floor. And just people going about their business.
Yeah. It reminded me of a top-down computer game. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I recall one that was set in a hospital, and you'd have people coming in and out of doors, and that's what it reminded me of. And yeah, that was cool. And it was Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And of course you have the standard array of Wes Anderson intertitles, although all of them were either fully black and white shoebox pattern, just with text, or very, very small text on a lot of the intertitles.
Yeah,
and
it was a choice.
And illustrative features that you would then cut directly to the place that was being illustrated.
Yeah.
And then the credits. The credits sequence was pretty good. Funny, even.
Mm-hmm.
It was a funny credit sequence for not having anything particularly running through it. It was just, oh, well, here's something quirky. Here is the credits for who provided all of these paintings, and we're going to show you the paintings. You're going to look at the paintings. We're going to tell you when they were painted as well, and that's nice. And then, in the second half of the credits, as it's getting into the sound and music credits and jumping along to the music, and that's nice. That's nice.
Mm. Music certainly did play a strong part in this particular film. I don't really recall... the Boy Scout and Girl Scout who run away together. What was the name of that one?
Moonrise Kingdom?
Moonrise Kingdom, yeah. Yeah, there was certain bits of music in that were very much a character of the film. Mm.
And, the standard meticulous stagecraft... it's to be expected, I think, the style of sets, but still excellent sets.
Mm, yep. There was
a
spot that actually made me quite queasily uncomfortable,
Yeah.
where there was a camera dolly that actually shook a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and after really smooth dolly motions, the slight juddering sort of threw me a bit. I was disturbed.
Yeah?
And I don't think it was intentional. I don't know.
The very first scene of the film, we're in the plane gets blown up and takes half of the previous administrative assistant with it. That is Truman Hanks, Tom Hanks' youngest son. Who largely works behind the camera.
Yes.
And did work behind the camera on this.
Oh, cool. He got a cameo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would class it as a cameo.
And had a couple of cameos in the Roald Dahl shorts.
Yeah.
As you might expect. There's stuff going on with those shorts. It's...
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was, 3 smaller shorts and then a larger short that just happened to have a lot of acting overlap with the three shorter shorts.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
The Venetian Blind. We finally watched it.
Yeah.
Or known in some countries as the Phoenician Scheme. Why do I keep on thinking effect? Don't know. That was it. Do you have anything else to say about that?
No.
I didn't write any notes. Again, you can't. It's in that hope that you'll catch that thing that, oh, that was clever. Maybe that's what I was missing, was that there wasn't anything that really stood out as, oh, that was clever. We didn't even break aspect ratio, I don't think, did we?
No, I don't think there were changes of aspect ratio per se. There were scenes where the same aspect ratio took up less of the screen.
Yeah.
But not a lot of aspect ratio change.
No. Well, if you have nothing else to say about that, I have nothing else to say about that, I think we'll move on.
The following segment has no title. Thank you. We will start over on Discord with E of Pie.
Hi, E of Pie.
Who says, I'm sorry you didn't end up enjoying Shaolin Soccer. I feel a little like I let you down with the wrong type of comedy and the wrong type of sports movie for a sports comedy. Alas, it's definitely a bit of its own taste, and I'm sorry to have, I suppose, to some degree, inflicted it on you, if it wasn't to yours. Look, sometimes that's just how the podcast goes.
It is. And I appreciate that you had put it forward. And I appreciate that we've watched it because I know that when it came out, I was really, really looking forward to it. And so when it finally became available, I was excited. The other thing that I found interesting during the week, whilst I was thinking about it a little further, that I don't think I mentioned in the podcast, was the parallels between it and Monkey Magic, the TV series from the 70s/80s that I watched as a kid, which was like badly dubbed, but very, very well made. And, you know, the martial arts aspect of it was just absolutely brilliant. But that was a vibe that I was getting from this film that I couldn't place. And I finally got it during the week. So I don't know why I brought that up, but if you can, I don't know how accessible it is to track down these days, but Monkey, good stuff.
E of Pie continues, your fun travel story reminds me of something my family and I used to do when driving places. The US has a great many places named after other places, and we would send our mum a note that we were passing one place on our way to another, which might imply we had gone, like, east instead of west by accident. Except instead of the more famous places by those names, they were small farming villages or something on the route we were actually trying to follow.
There's a section of a highway that if you're wanting to get from one end of Tasmania to the other end of Tasmania, you generally go through this section of highway that goes through Baghdad.
Yeah.
And past the Jordan River. And
the Jordan River has Jericho at one end.
Yeah. So there's been many a time where we've gone on a family trip and I've posted on Facebook, we're just going through downtown Baghdad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good fun. Good fun.
On YouTube, M.
Hi, M.
Says, gotta respect the overcommitment to the bit. Once I have a bit in my head, I have to commit. If it is possible to commit, I have to commit.
I was fully expecting to suddenly see a Melbourne tram. But it didn't happen. Yeah.
That would have taken somewhat more than the $15 or so that I spent on travel that day. Or outright lies.
Yes, that's right.
Which I wasn't doing. if every photo that I sent was one that I took at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for the one of the visitor centre at Geeveston, which I sent with the photo I took of the gateway.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right.
Because just sending the photo of the visitor centre, I don't think is impactful enough. I had to walk all the way, 20 minutes along the Port Ewan to Geeveston track.
Yeah.
In order to walk a little further back along the Huon Highway in order to get that picture of the gateway.
Right.
And at that point I was already 20 minutes out of Geeveston, and so I continued walking on to Port Huon. Which is why I continued walking on to Port Huon.
Okay. So one of those photos wasn't yours?
No, both of those photos were mine.
Right, okay. You're confusing me.
I just took the photo of the visitor centre and then didn't send it until I'd taken the photo of the gateway.
Yep.
M continues. Also, gonna throw in a film suggestion while I still have time. The 2013 adaptation of The Great Gatsby. It's a film I've watched twice, both times for different education levels. I'm curious to hear other opinions about it, regardless of any prior knowledge about the novel, which I have slim to none about.
Well, I supposedly read it
in
year 12 and watched a version of it, but obviously not the 2013 one was called Gatsby, wasn't it? They dropped the great so that it wasn't confused with was it Robert Redford that was in?
No, they called it The Great Gatsby.
Oh, okay.
Some of the posters might look at first glance as though they just said Gatsby, but the words the and great were hidden somewhere in the GA pair.
Right. Huh. And the previous version of that?
In 1974.
Mm-hmm. Starring
Redford,
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, certainly add that onto our list because I would be curious to revisit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I've only got snippets of memories of things that happen in the story.
And concludes, and
no,
Rio...
you don't have to read
Rio
that bit. No,
2011
you can skip that.
Maybe?
No.
No?
Not going to happen. The number of earworms that I've had to tackle in the last 6 months from movies, I really don't think I could do that to myself. But I will add it to the list for when we finally run out of movies to watch.
Yeah. Would you believe they just keep coming out with movies? It just...
Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm counting on. Yeah. Well, thank you.
And unfortunately, if the movies do end up running out, it'll probably be because all of our methods of getting movies have also collapsed. So
I thought you were going to say it's like that Arthur C. Clarke short story where the stars start going out. You're not familiar with it. All right, then. Guesses. We had some guesses.
It will take us up to the guesses. Eve Pye says, as for a guess, in classic form, Schlunsucker. SHLNSCCR. Just take all the vowels out.
Take the vowels out.
And you got it. And M has also gone for Schlunsucker. Just take all the vowels out and,
if I had been that predictable, then both of them would have got it right.
You were that predictable.
Oh, and both of them got it right.
Yeah.
You get a prize. Eve Pye gets a prize and a what do they call
arbitrary point.
An arbitrary point. And M gets a prize and an arbitrary point as Thomas leans over to see what I have typed in as the file name for this week's movie, which is The Venetian Blind. No, it's not The Venetian Blind. Thomas scoffed at me. Okay, Thomas will tell you what the movie was so that I don't get it wrong.
The Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah. Let's see you cram that into 8 alphanumeric characters.
It's not as simple as just taking all the vowels out.
No, that doesn't work.
It's close.
Yeah, but let's see what you do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
If you have a file name guess, or a film suggestion, or comments on our comments, or the film that we've watched,
please.
Yeah, get them in there.
Yeah.
Fill up this untitled segment that still 189 episodes later, I have not recorded any new intros for. No. Hey, I'm exhausted. I think we'll move on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
And it's your turn.
No, I'm sorry. But as previously established, you may have chosen this film this week, but I already chose it for this week, last week.
Fine. All right then, here we go. I'm going to read you a plot synopsis. Buzz in when you think you've got it. I think you've seen it. I think I've seen it, but it's what I'm in the mood for.
Okay.
A young covert CIA analyst uncovers a Russian plot to crash the US economy with a terrorist attack.
Okay. This sounds like a Jack Ryan film.
Does it?
It does.
It stars Kevin Costner.
Right.
Kenneth Branagh.
Right.
Keira Knightley.
Okay.
And Chris Pine.
Uh-huh.
Are you still going to go with a Jack Ryan film?
Did Chris Pine play a Jack Ryan?
A Jack Ryan. Not the Jack Ryan.
Well,
it's like James Bond.
There has been a few.
Chris Pine is Jack Ryan in Shadow Recruit.
Right. Have I seen this?
Maybe you haven't. It's interesting because I watched the 2-minute trailer for it just to see whether I had actually got a recollection of it and had that moment of, it was that film that happened in. So, yes, I have seen it, but want to see it again. And Thomas.
Did I finish the John Krasinski series?
I don't know. You're just wanting to make this episode so long that it's going to take me 3 days to edit it, aren't you?
Look,
so you just suddenly...
Just edit out the awkward silences.
It's not just a case. I have to listen to these awkward silences to determine whether they are awkward silences.
Well, once you've determined the whole thing just goes.
No idea. I don't know whether you've seen the Venetian blind effect syndrome.
I think I did.
What are you talking about?
Anyway.
Good.
John Krasinski made a Jack Ryan series for Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, okay. Right, which I've been meaning to watch.
And that ran for 4 seasons.
Right. And you haven't watched all of it?
I think I've watched all of it.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
next week.
Shadow Recruit, was it?
Yes. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. We hope that you can join us as we watch it on Stan in Australia.
Great.
Yeah.
The bit of Stan that we have.
Yes.
And but not the bit that costs almost twice as much on top of it.
But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us, in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
You've sabotaged the entire podcast, Thomas. Completely sabotaged it. I mean, you've even made the post-credit, I may or may not use this bit, longer, just through your sabotaging. And I'm going to write a letter, an email. Expect an email tomorrow, Thomas. Yeah.
I didn't say anything, man. That's all you.
That sounds like a you problem. I'm stopping. Is that a me problem that I'm stopping?
Go on then.
For those of you who are watching the video podcast, you'll see a shrug of shoulders and a raising of hands. Who can say? It is not me. I'm stopping.